Goblin did for me what it did for G.K. Chesterton. It changed him on the inside and then on the outside. He said it changed his entire perspective of life, what life meant, how to react to it, how to love God more. I met Fantastes in 1976 at a college class at Sac State. Changed me, revolutionized my inner being. I didn't know what to do with it at the time because I didn't know MacDonald that well, but something changed, something ignited within me, much like C.S. Lewis. Some of you may be familiar with this copy. It's the old Eardmans from 1976. And when George wrote Fantastes, he was 34, and he was just beginning. In 1979, I bought a paperback copy of The Lady of the Mansion, Harper Row. 1982, I bought a paperback copy of The Flight of the Shadow in the same bookstore in Sacramento. And that's all I could find. That was it. In 1982 also, I had gone back to the same bookstore, sleuthing around. One of the clerks had a case of this book that she was pulling out and putting on the shelf, and it had MacDonald's name on it. And I was petrified, stupefied, amazed. And it was called The Fisherman's Lady, what we now know as Malcolm. And I snagged it. I gobbled it up in about a week, and I did something I've never done before, is I wrote to the author. You know, longhand, the stamp on the envelope, and put it in his box. That's what we had back then. And I heard back from him very soon. Same thing. I think he typed it out, though.
On a typewriter.
On a typewriter. That is correct. And I thought after having read The Fisherman's Lady, I'm home. In 1987 was our first retreat.
Dave's been at every single one. Pictures.
Oh. Show and tell.
Show and tell. That's what I do.
Oh man, look at all the people
You
there.
were young back then.
So were they. Look at, oh man.
And on the back is Silver Creek.
Wow. I think this still is the biggest one. We'll have to count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But boy,
What a hoot, huh?
a couple of young Phillips people are pretty young too.
Bridgeville, California, they had a cabin along the Russian River, and that's where we met the first 2 times. During that time frame, you also gave me this, and you sealed my fate. A Sir Gibby, Everyman's Version, London, 1924, and it bit me, the collecting bug bit me, and you're to blame for all this.
This is not the Everyman edition. It's not.
Okay.
And it's not 1924.
It's Castle London. Thank you.
No
Don't argue. Don't doubt me in these things.
more, no more Clash of the Titans.
When we had the second retreat in '89 at Bridgeville, I'm snooping around and I come across this office with a royal typewriter inside with a paper sticking up out of it, and I thought, and I walked in and there's this Rutledge edition open up, and it's being typed, and it's got this stuff on it, and it's being redacted, and I thought I started to shiver. And you didn't know about this.
I didn't know.
No, you didn't. And so I labeled it the Holy Grail Royal. It was a burning bush typewriter. Don't doubt me. I came across it. I knew no one else knew I was there, and it was a little secret that I hid inside of me for all this time. Ta-da.
This was upstairs in the little office in the Sunrise Plaza.
Yes.
You snuck
I
up
snuck
there.
up there. Absolutely.
I was in the middle of a page, came down for some reason, wanted to visit these people from Woodland who come to visit, and then you snuck away. And
Yes. At this point in time, I had discovered a bookstore in Berkeley called Serendipity. No longer there, but it was a barn, a converted wine barn, 3 stories high, books from the floor to the ceiling. Whenever I would visit, I could never visit all the books, the book rooms, the nooks and the crannies, the stairs. I hadn't time. But he carried the antiquarian MacDonalds. He had maybe 6, 12, 18, 24 at a time. They were far outpriced beyond what I could afford. But they glowed, they were there, and they were George. And it was, occasionally I would save up nickels and dimes and snag one, which was always a joy. Back in the day, there was no internet, so you had 3x5 postcards that you would send to England and Scotland and to folks here in the country asking, okay, what did you find? What do we have? And remember the rotary phone, the long distance phone calls? Did that as well. So gradually the collection started to grow, much like yours did. Third retreat was in Silver Creek, Oregon. Yes, had about 60, and it was an amazing time for everyone. In the meantime, when I was at Serendipity, I had pulled together some funding. Mike had mentioned to me a book he did not have in his collection.
That's the exact one. It's over there, yeah.
It's The Elect Lady, 1889, London. In fact, just take a look at it. What the heck?
I remember him talking about that title like it was the Holy Grail. He was searching for it.
Yes, yes. And in finding it, the dealer wanted far too much for it. But I contacted the previous retreat members, got their names, numbers. They all contributed a little bit. Everyone signed a card, and we presented it to you in Oregon, if I remember right.
Where is that card? It's over there with the book, I think. That was, yeah,
Interesting.
That was. Yeah, that was an all-time moment. That was one of the last ones that we'd never seen.
Yes.
And thanks to Dave, we saw it.
In the meantime, the stinker started writing. This is the first edition of the first book. The Heather Hills of Stonewick, co-written with Lynn Sadler is another one, and of course yourself. And now you can go on Amazon and there's amazing scholarship everywhere. It's a very amazing thing. So your writing career has gone from 82 to 2018, 36 years. George's went from 51 to 98, 47 years. So keep going.
You got a doubling.
And in closing, I'd like to share something that I came up with that intrigued me. Never done it before, haven't seen it anywhere before. It's grandfather's thread of faith in his writing progression chronology. 1951 translations, 1851 translations, 55 poetry, 57 poetry, 58 adult fantasy, 60 supernatural, 63 through 66 adult novels, both Scottish and English, 67 sermons, 67 adult novel, fairy tales, adult novel, poems, 68 history, 69 through 72 he was the editor of the Good Words for the Young magazines, of which North Wind, Renald Bannerman, and Goblin all appeared in this magazine format. 1870 sermons, 70 adult novels, Scottish, children's novel, 71, adult novel, 71, 72 children's novel, 73 children's novel, 74 American tour when he came to America for about 6 months, 74 adult novel, Scottish, 75 adult novel, English, 75 children's novel, 76 adult novel, 76 translations, 77 adult novel, 79 through 81 Scottish novels, poems, 81 adult novel times 3, 82 The Gifts of the Child of Christ, the collection of short stories, essays, 83 children's novel, 83 poetry, 83 adult novel, 85 Hamlet, 85 sermons, 86, 87, 88 adult novels the whole way through, 89 sermons, 90 children's novel, 91 adult novel, 92 supernatural thriller. It boggles you how he did this. 93 sermons, 93 adult novel, 93 poetry collection, 95 adult novel, 97 adult fantasy, 95 adult fantasy, 97 adult novel, 97 poetry collection, and 1898 was his final novelette called Far Above Rubies. This was Grandfather, and this is what we have. Thank you, folks.